my friends. I'm Nero. This is the long-awaited update video that I've been talking about for several weeks now. There have been quite a few reasons why it's taken so long, and we'll get into some of those. I'm not generally one to put trigger warnings at the beginning of my videos. I generally just try to keep things light, try to keep things casual. But since this is an update video and an update video on how I'm doing, we're going to get into some pretty heavy topics. With that in mind, I'd like you to be warned that we're going to be discussing some heavier, possibly triggering topics. So if that is something that you are not mentally or emotionally prepared to discuss, that's okay. I'll mention it again before we start getting into anything too crazy serious, but there are some serious topics that everyone should be able to discuss. Let's start by saying, hey, if you haven't already filled up your water bottle and hydrated, now's a good time. So, what's been going on? Why has this taken so long? Why wasn't this a New Year's update video? Well, a lot of things have been changing. Start on a global scale, and we'll work our way more focused, more narrow on how things are going. There's some pretty significant changes that are happening, that have happened, and that are going to continue to happen. Notably in government and administration. Regardless of your broad beliefs or what team you're cheering for, there are some changes that are happening that should concern you, that are concerning. There are a lot of worrying things that are happening and an underlying culture change that is alarming at best. One of the things I have mentioned in previous videos is that I have and will continue to seek common ground with those even with whom I fundamentally disagree, because that is the only way we as a society are going to keep moving forward, is if we find what we agree on and discuss methodology on how best to approach it. Because there are very few people, I think, who would disagree in some very fundamental principles. And those who do should be called out for it. But with those changes, it has been alarming and concerning at best. And it's hard to come into YouTube to sit down in front of a camera and have the goal of having fun and entertaining when the world feels like it's on the brink of collapsing. Also, weather. I mean, climate and weather, two different things, but kind of go hand in hand. That's been on the extreme end of late. We have extreme fires. We have severe storms. My area just had a blizzard, which has factored into the delay on this. And the way people consume media is also a factor. Just in general, we have cut down from reading articles and newspapers to watching news, and we'd watch news segments, we'd watch news stories, we'd watch shows, and then it was watching shorter videos and shorter videos and shorter videos. And now if you cannot convey the entire sense of what you're trying to convey, if you cannot entertain within 15 seconds, no one's going to watch it. Doesn't matter how well read out your argument is. People have a 6-second attention span, and then they want to move on to the next. And part of that is because we're saturated with all this horrible information that we just want to drown it out. And the best way to drown it out is to just keep scrolling through these random funny videos so you don't have to stop and think about the way things are. On a more narrow note, so we're going to zoom in from the world to a larger circle that is my family. Because family are the people to whom you are biologically connected. Now, whatever connection you may have with them, that is for you to decide, but biologically you are connected with them. And that does factor into things. For me, I don't have a small family. I don't have a huge family, but I don't have a small family. And there have been quite a few health concerns. There have been some significant health changes, and trying to help where I can to prevent these health issues from getting worse. I'm also enmeshed in numerous family businesses, and those have required quite a bit of assistance, notably because of the family health issues. If you can't physically do something, you need someone who physically can, and in many cases that's been me. I've also been trying to improve my relationships with my family. We've had ups and downs, to put it mildly. There are some days that we're very close, and there are some situations where I would not share with them as much as I would share with you, my audience. Random strangers on the internet, I will share more with you than I would share with my own family. And I'm trying to improve those relationships and those connections. Also in light of the health issues that people have been having. I don't want to have any regrets. So, narrowing even further, we're going to talk about my social circle. Friends, as you will. Because friends are the people with whom you associate that you decide to associate. Friends are the people you choose to have connections with. And my social circle, my social connections have been as of late, my social connections have been dwindling and falling apart, to put it bluntly. Some have been a matter of disputes. We have things that we disagree on or that we fight about, that we argue about, and feelings are left raw. And sometimes it's just a matter of differences. We find ourselves enjoying different things and not enjoying other things that some people do and some people don't. And we're finding a deharmonization of that. Some of it is that when people struggle, I know I do it quite a bit. When I'm struggling, I tend to distance myself from everyone. I tend to isolate. And some people pick up on that and some people don't. And sometimes, even if they pick up on it, there's not much they can or will do. Oh, just give them their space. Well, that's not always the healthy thing. And sometimes life just takes you in different directions. And that distancing isn't anyone's fault. And especially lately with a few individuals, it's just been a matter of desync. We miss each other, we like each other, we care about each other, we want to talk, we want to hang out, we want to play games, we want to interact, but our schedules are almost completely opposite. And so I've found myself in a situation where I don't have a lot of people I'm close to anymore, and I don't have a lot of people I can talk to anymore. And that is difficult. Yeah, most of these subjects under this heading started with the letter D, and I just leaned into the alliteration. So let's get even more focused and get into me. And for those of you who are paying attention, this is where some of those trigger warnings are going to come into play, because there's a lot going on. For one, the main reason I've been putting this off is work. I have gone into work every single day since New Year's. Every single day this year, I have gone into work. And for some people, that's their normal. It's not normal for me. And I have spent the greater part of 2 weeks trying to clean up after a blizzard. And it was brutal. It took its toll on my body, my mind, my time. I would essentially get up at 2 hours earlier than normal, go in, and I'd work all day, stay 2 hours later than normal. I'd come home, I'd have dinner, I'd have enough time to watch a show, a single episode of something, take a quick rinse off, shower, and go to bed, and do it all again the next day. Day in, day out. That was my schedule for a long time. Which factored into agitating some things that we've had to deal with over the last couple of years. Lest we forget, I'm missing over half the interior tissue of one of my knees, and the other leg I had a not insignificant amount of tissue cut out just this last year. I have scars and injuries and incisions, all screaming in pain from the amount of physical exertion I've been putting them through. And putting them through in not ideal conditions. I enjoy the cold. I have mentioned this. I love the cold. But it is a harsh environment. Sub-zero temperatures, extreme winds, cold and dry, and just saps it out of you. And that has furthermore taken its toll on my mental health. I have not mentally been in a very good place lately. I'm saying that as an understatement. I've been bad lately. I've been doing very bad. As I've mentioned, I struggle with depression quite a bit. I have chronic depression, and it's getting worse. As time goes by, it gets worse every day. And I'm still fighting it. When I was younger and less, I would say trained, but less aware of myself and with less capacity for coping. I was suicidal. I had numerous failed attempts. And I'm glad that those attempts failed. Something a lot of people don't understand is that those who are suicidal often are not wanting to die necessarily. It is that they are wanting the pain to stop. Now, whether that pain is physical or emotional, whether it's from outside sources or purely internal, what they want is they just want the pain to stop, and they don't see any other way. And I know for me, that was a lot of it. I didn't see any way out of the situations I was in. I am not actively suicidal. However, there is a middle ground called suicidal ideation, which is when you don't have any intent or desire to act upon it. You're not going to self-harm. You're not going to hurt yourself. But the thought is there. The thought is, man, you know, it would be better if I wasn't alive. I don't want to die. I just want to not be alive. And over the last few months, I've hit that point a couple times. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well, and I have a diminished social circle. I have a diminished safety net. And I know that. And I know I have a lot of additional stressors that are exacerbating the situation. And that's not great. And I know it's affected my ability to make YouTube videos, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about quitting YouTube. I have had a history of eccentric hobbies. For instance, I took bagpipe lessons for a while. I took fencing lessons for a while. I did pole vault when I was in high school. I had a webcomic for a while. I've dabbled in game design. I have a lot of projects that I've started, gotten into, and then never finished. And part of what keeps me going on YouTube is I don't want this to be another failed hobby. Things are bad. I don't know if things are going to get better if I keep trying. But I know for a fact they won't if I don't. If I don't try, nothing's going to change. In regards to the channel, my subscriptions have been pretty stagnant. One of my most viewed videos over the last year was the one that I said "The End," and it was 1.5 minutes long. Something like that. I think it was just because people thought, oh good, he's finally quitting. Average views on my videos currently 8. eight views per video, which is not a lot. I've had minimal feedback. The feedback I've gotten from people has been mediocre. It is what it is. And I suppose I'm acting in a bit of naivety in that I'm trying to cultivate and curate an audience that's different than the traditional YouTube audience. I can't be the only one who looks at modern content and sees just a plethora of clickbait videos and short mind rot, brain rot videos. I can't be the only one who looks at the communities and sees just overwhelming toxicity, hostility, and everyone's happy to be brave and bold behind a keyboard and an anonymous profile. I can't be the only one to see these cultures fomenting that don't care, that it doesn't matter, and that give up when there's any kind of challenge. And that's why I'm trying to do my videos different. You can put on one of my playlists and it can be a distraction if you need a distraction. It can be white noise if you need white noise. It can just be there. It can be a story that you are as involved with or not as you like. And it's a full playthrough on these games. Just about all the games I do are full playthroughs. And they're games that I love. I love these games. I love these stories. And I know there's probably people dealing with just as bad or worse than I'm dealing with. Or maybe you're telling yourself, well, it's not as bad as you're dealing with. It doesn't matter, you're still struggling. It's okay for you to still be struggling. It's okay for you to still say, yeah, I'm dealing with a lot too. I am trying my best to survive, and I hope you are doing the same. Use any and every resource you have at your disposal and go find some to survive. Which brings us back to me again. I am surviving how I can. It's not pretty. I know that. It's not a model. It's not anything to model yourself after. Certainly. But I am surviving. I will be okay. I always am. I'm gonna hang in there. And I'm going to continue to try to make small, sustainable changes to improve my life, to improve the content I provide for you, the videos I make for you. I didn't want this video to hit that low note and just stop. The previous 4 times I recorded this, that's what happened. I hit the low note talking about how I'm not doing well, and that's where it stopped. That's all I had. I can't give you a beacon of light. I can't say, oh, but there's beautiful brightness at the end. There, you just got to keep after it. I don't know. I don't know that there is. There hasn't been for me. And I'm sure for many of you that's also been the case. And the old morals are that the journey beats the destination. It's what you interact with and do along the way that's important. And I don't disagree with that, but it helps to have a better destination in mind. And so I want to talk about verbs again, because there is one word that a lot of people use as a noun, and I am more of one who uses it as a verb. That is love, actually. And there's another word that I'm going to get into that it fits that profile as well, because love isn't something you hold. It isn't something you contain. It isn't something you do stuff to. Love is an action. Love is a choice. It is a decision you make. And to what capacity depends on a variety of factors about who you are as a person and the love you are trying to show. But for me, love is a choice every day. And when I have to interact with and deal with people who would just as soon I not exist, trying to find a way to show them love is difficult. Trying to find a way to love them is difficult, and love doesn't always mean doing what they want, but love is pursuing health and happiness for that person. And sometimes you need to take a step back and remember that includes you. I am really bad at loving who I am. I love parts of who I am, but the whole person, that's difficult. And it's something that I keep trying to readjust. And I try to more and more become the person that I want to love. And I need to take a step back and remember that you need to be able to love the person before they're who you want them to be. You need to love them for who they are right then. And the word I was mentioning earlier that goes alongside with this is hope. Hope isn't a thing you have, it's a thing you do. It's easier if you know there is something better. If you know that you can and should have better. Hope isn't the absence of despair any more than courage is the absence of fear. Hope is the choice to persist and aspire to better in the face of nigh insurmountable odds. Hope is saying, there's a chance. And any chance is worth it. This is when all the guides say that you need to put in a call to action. All I've got for you is that the music is from The Relaxed Movement. I will include their link in the description. I'm not going to ask anything of any of you. If you know somebody who would benefit from watching this video, great. You're welcome to share it. I don't expect anybody to watch it. I don't want to set myself up for aspirations that I can't reach. I balance my hope with small sustainable changes, and one of the small sustainable changes I can make is doing this video in the first place. Doing this update video so you know what's going on, and being authentic and sincere and open as I do. I'd love to do more collab videos that would require a lot of effort and coordination and communication on a lot of people's parts. And I know right now people just don't have the time. I'd love to do more small videos, but I just haven't had the time. And when I do, I don't know what to create that will be enjoyed while still staying true to what I want to make. But I feel better for talking. I won't say I feel good. I'm a wreck right now, my friends. I'm that not great meme, but I am hoping, and I am loving along the way. I know this is kind of nonsensical, ridiculous. Why are you making this video? I thought I should. I'm gonna keep making videos. I'm not expecting to go viral. I'm not expecting to take off. I'm not expecting to become part of this huge community of video makers and game players and whatnot. I'm just a guy with a webcam and an internet connection making some YouTube videos. We'll see what sticks. But I think that's going to conclude it for me for now. I don't know when I'll upload this, but we'll see you again soon. For now, my friends, farewell.